The Secret Wives of Light. They say the oldest stories were never written, only whispered, passed through blood and silence, and this one was whispered by angels who forgot their names. I was a child when I first heard it, a tale about the God who loved too deeply, too humanly. They said he created the world not from power, but from longing. And in every age he walked among his creations, not as a king, but as a lover, hidden in flesh, bound by time. The priests called it blasphemy, but those who dreamed, they called it truth. Heartbeat like rhythm. In a city of mirrored towers where light drowned out the stars, I met a man who spoke of her, not a woman, not exactly, but the first soul God ever touched. He said she bore the mark of his sorrow, and that from her tears the oceans were born. They were not just lovers, he whispered, they were the beginning and the end. But love, even divine love, leaves echoes, and the world is full of echoes. Some say the wind carries the voices of his other brides, souls who once felt his hand, his warmth, his impossible tenderness, each one forgotten by time, hidden behind scripture, yet still waiting, still whispering. One night I found a fragment, an old manuscript buried beneath the ruins of a cathedral. The words were half burned, half erased, but one phrase remained: "The Lord walks still among those he once loved." That line haunted me. It followed me into dreams, into rain, into the hollow quiet of every prayer I no longer knew how to say. And then, one night, he appeared, not in light, not in fire, but in shadow. His voice was soft, tired, ancient beyond time. He said, "Do you know why they call me jealous?" I couldn't speak because every soul that turns away from love, he said, feels like a wound I cannot heal. His hand brushed mine, and in that single touch I saw worlds unfold. Cities, oceans, children laughing beneath golden suns, and behind them faces, countless faces, all shining with the same divine light. His wives, his children, his endless longing scattered through time. The voice turns to the listener. If you're still here, if these words haven't turned you away, then maybe you were meant to hear this. Maybe somewhere in your own life, you felt that same invisible thread, the one that pulls you towards something you can't explain. Before we go further, take a breath. And if you believe that love, even forbidden love, still carries truth, then like this story, share it, let it live, because what I'm about to tell you was never meant to be heard aloud. Music fades into a slow, haunting chime. They said the creator could not die, but he could be forgotten, and that is worse. So he began again, hidden among us, seeking the faces of his lost brides, reborn as souls who no longer remembered him. And each time he found one, the world trembled. Soft thunder rolls in the distance. That was how the second creation began. They say every truth must walk through silence before it becomes real. So I walked. The city fell behind me, its towers bleeding neon into the night, and ahead stretched nothing but desert. No signal, no sound, only the taste of dust and the faint echo of his voice. Where memory ends, I begin. For 7 days the sun did not move. My mind cracked open like dry stone. I started to see things in the heat, faces of women I had never met, whispering my name like a prayer. Each one said the same thing: we loved him once. On the eighth day, I reached the ruins of a monastery half buried in sand. No doors, no monks, only walls carved with names that shimmered in moonlight. Names that sounded like music, names that felt alive. When I touched the stone, I saw flashes, lives overlapping, centuries folding like pages. A queen who spoke to stars, a warrior who died smiling in battle, A mother who gave her last breath to a child born with eyes full of light. All of them, the same soul, wearing different faces. All of them, brides of the same unseen beloved. A whisper came from the wind. Do you understand now? God never broke his vow. It was the world that forgot the wedding. I fell to my knees. Sand turned to water beneath me, waves of memory washing over my skin. And in that water I saw him again, not the shadow from before, but light in human form. His face was calm, kind, unbearably beautiful. His eyes carried centuries of loss. They call it sin, he said, but it was only love that refused to die. Were they real? I asked. All of them? He smiled. They were not mine to keep. They were mine to remember. Music deepens, ethereal tones, soft female chorus behind. He reached out his hand, and from the sand rose visions, cities born from tears, children carved from light, entire civilizations born from the echo of his longing, each one a fragment of love he could not let go. They are my sons, he said, not of blood, but of soul. Every being that can love even once carries my breath. And in that moment, I realized this was not about sin. This was about a God who loved too much to stay perfect. Soft silence. Then the voice turns toward the listener again. If you're still watching, if your heart hasn't turned away, then you've already begun to remember. Maybe you were one of them once. Maybe that ache you feel late at night when the world goes quiet is the echo of his voice calling you home. Before we go on, if this story has touched something in you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it. Not for me, but so that the ones who have forgotten might hear their names again. Because we are all his stories, walking, breathing, breaking, healing. Music swells, low heartbeat, faint bells. When dawn came, the light changed. The desert shimmered like glass, and from the horizon rose a temple made of air and memory. Its gates opened without sound. Inside, I saw faces, thousands of them, each one glowing with the same divine spark. They were waiting, not for judgment, but for reunion. He stood in their midst, no crown, no robe, only light. The world will never understand, he said, that every soul I loved became a piece of heaven itself. Then what am I? I asked. He smiled, almost sadly. You are my next story. Music fades into a single note, endless, eternal. That was the day I stopped searching for God, because I realized he had been searching for us all along. They say the soul never dies, it only climbs. Each life, each heartbreak, each prayer whispered into silence is a step up an invisible mountain toward something vast and unnameable. And so I climbed. The desert faded behind me, the sand became stone, and the stone began to sing. Every step echoed like a heartbeat, every gust of wind carried whispers of forgotten names, his names. At first, I thought it was just memory, but soon I realized the mountain was alive. By the third night, I reached the clouds. There was no path, no temple, only mist. Yet in that mist, shapes began to appear. Women with eyes like dawn, men with hearts of flame, children laughing in the wind. They circled me, shining faintly like stars too tired to burn. Who are you? I asked. Their voices came together, one voice made of many. We are his memories. We are the love he could not let go. One stepped closer, a woman with silver hair and eyes that held galaxies. He gave us freedom, she said softly, but freedom turned to forgetting, and forgetting turned to loneliness. I felt her touch my chest and saw my own past unravel like silk. Every moment I had loved, lost, hoped, or prayed, all connected, all alive, all him. Then the clouds parted, and I saw the summit. It was not stone. It was light, pulsing, breathing, infinite, the same light I had seen once in a dream. and within it, him. But he was not alone. Around him moved countless figures, neither men nor women, but souls woven from every emotion that had ever existed: joy, sorrow, desire, forgiveness. They were all his reflections, his eternal brides, his eternal children, each one a piece of his love, broken and reborn through time. I fell to my knees. The light entered me like breath, and I heard his voice clearer than ever before. They called it adultery when I loved the world. But what is sin to one who made love itself? You think I have many wives, he said, but I have only one, and she is called creation. Every life, every soul, every birth of kindness or longing, all of it is my wedding night with existence. The mountain began to glow brighter until it felt like the whole universe was breathing through me. Every sound, every heartbeat, every human cry became a song, and I understood finally that he had never hidden anything. It was us who could not see, because love, true love, doesn't belong to one. It moves through all things, like fire through air, like music through silence. Music softens, light strings, faint choir. If you're still here, still listening, then maybe your soul remembers too. Maybe somewhere inside you there's a light that has been waiting to be seen, to be called by name, to return home. Before we go on, pause. Take a breath. If your heart feels even a spark of what I'm saying, then please like this story, subscribe, and share it so others might remember the truth that never died. Because the story of the divine is not written in books or temples, it's written in us. Music rises, a wave of sound, vast and gentle. The mountain vanished in light. I thought I would die, but instead, I felt myself dissolve into something endless. The world spun backward, stars collapsing, cities reborn, rivers flowing with memory. And then I saw him one last time. He smiled. Tell them, he said, that heaven is not above them. It's between them every time they love. Music fades to a single note like a heartbeat in eternity. That was the day I stopped believing in perfection because I realized even the divine bleeds for love. And maybe that's what makes it holy. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the city. The mountain was gone, or maybe it was never there. Only the endless skyline remained, each tower glowing like a candle in the night. But something had changed. The light was softer. The air felt alive. Every reflection shimmered, as if remembering something ancient and sacred. And for the first time, I understood. The city had never forgotten God. It had only forgotten how to listen. As I walked through the streets, I saw faces I had never truly seen before. A mother humming to her child, a man kneeling to tie a stranger's shoe, a woman leaving food for a stray animal beneath the rain. Tiny acts of kindness, tiny miracles, each one glowing faintly, like stars reborn on the surface of the earth. And I heard his voice again, carried in the hum of the streetlights. Do you see it now? Heaven was never above. It was always here, waiting inside every act of love. I began to cry, not out of sorrow, but recognition, because everywhere I looked, I saw his reflection in laughter, in forgiveness, in hands reaching for one another. The divine wasn't gone, it had become human. That night, I climbed to the highest rooftop I could find. The rain had stopped. The clouds opened, revealing a sky so full of light it felt alive. And I spoke aloud, not as prayer, but as confession. You were never hiding, were you? And from the wind came the faintest reply, I was waiting. Music swells, soft strings, distant choir. Below me, the city began to glow brighter. Windows, streets, towers, all pulsing in rhythm with a single heartbeat. And for a moment, I felt the whole world breathing as one. I realized then We are not his mistakes, nor his servants, nor his forgotten children. We are his continuation, his living memory, his eternal marriage to existence. How voice turns to the listener, warm, intimate, steady. If you're still watching this, thank you. You didn't just listen to a story, you became part of it. Somewhere inside you, something ancient has begun to stir, the memory of what it means to love without fear, to forgive without reason, to see divinity in the ordinary. So before you leave this moment, pause. If this story touched something you can't explain, if your heart feels a little lighter, a little warmer, then like this video, subscribe and share it. Not for me, for the ones who have forgotten, for the ones still searching through the noise. Because maybe, just maybe, the act of remembering is how we rebuild heaven. Music deepens, calm, glowing resonance. As I looked down from the rooftop, I saw the people moving like rivers of light. Every breath they took shimmered in the air. And I realized this was not the end of the story. This was the beginning. The world wasn't waiting for salvation. It was waiting for us to remember what we already are. Soft pause, then a whisper, almost like a prayer. For God has many brides, the voice said, and every heart that chooses love becomes one of them. Music fades, silence, then one final note that lingers. That was the night the city remembered heaven, and the light never left again. It began with a sound, not thunder, not song, something older, the sound of the world breathing again. The city shimmered beneath the dawn, its towers no longer cold but radiant, as if every window, every beam of glass had remembered its purpose to reflect the light, not replace it. And through that glow, I saw them, the people, not saints, not prophets, just souls, ordinary, flawed, human, each carrying a spark of something divine. They looked at each other differently now. They spoke softer. They listened longer. And in their eyes, I saw the reflection of what heaven had always been, not a place, but a way of being. Soft pause. The voice lowers, deep and reflective. I walked among them as if in a dream. Children played beneath holographic trees, their laughter blending with the hum of machines. A woman sold bread to strangers without asking for coin. A man fixed broken drones just because they could still fly. Little acts, tiny, sacred rebellions against indifference. Each one a candle lit in the temple of the heart. And above it all, a quiet whisper moved through the air. The same whisper I had heard on the mountain, in the desert, in the silence of prayer. I am here. That night, I returned to the rooftop where everything began. The city pulsed below me, rivers of light flowing through steel veins. But this time, the glow was alive. It beat in time with my heart. And I realized I was no longer looking at the city. I was part of it. Every thought, every feeling was another thread in the great tapestry of being. I whispered to the wind, not expecting an answer. Was this your plan all along? And the voice came, gentle, infinite, full of laughter that sounded like creation itself. There was never a plan, only love, unfolding. Music swells warm, radiant, endless. In that moment, the sky opened. No clouds, no stars, just light, moving like breath. It wasn't coming from above, it was rising from below, from every heart, every soul that still remembered how to love. The city became the sky became the sea, and in the stillness between them, something new was born. Not a god, not a man, but a union, the divine and the human remembering they were never separate, fading in and out like waves. If you're still listening now, if your heart is still open, then you felt it too. That quiet warmth, That sense that you are more than a name, more than a moment. You are a fragment of eternity remembering itself. So before this story ends, pause, take a breath, look around you. Every light you see, every act of love, every person who dares to care, that is the return of the light. And if you believe in it, if you've seen it tonight, then like this video, subscribe, and share it. Not to spread a story, but to keep the flame alive, because the light doesn't end here. It moves through you. Music fades into silence, then one final whisper. The world is my beloved, and through every soul that loves, I am born again. Silence, then faint wind. The voice speaks one last time, soft, eternal.